Yo, what is up, YouTubers? I said a deal out and showed this little kid. He's picking his nose and he looks at the booger, then he eats it, and it said, "Follow me for more recipes." I posted it on Facebook called that carnivore diet deal. Hopefully they enjoy. Yeah, we're still in the loader truck. God bless. It's the false god of Estra Day. The giant confusion continues. Everybody celebrates the fake holidays instead of the holy days. I can see how God would be disgusted with it, you know what I mean? But like, you know, I just heard this guy talking, and he was all representing God, making declarations, "Thus saith the Lord," and all that kind of stuff. And man, I don't know how to take that, because it's like, on the one hand, if he gets it wrong at all, you know, cut his head off. And then on the other hand, it's like, you know, God spoke like that through the prophets before. I mean, he can do it again. So, I mean, how do you tell? How can you tell, right? Just wait and see, I guess. I heard a guy one time, he's a so-called prophet, and he said to the other guy, who's a so-called prophet, he said something about, yeah, they don't cut their heads off anymore, and it's a good thing for us. And when he said that, boy, I took notice of that. I definitely took notice of that. And, yeah. It's kind of like one of the deals where it's like, I don't know. Do you want to just get close enough to the snake to grab it by the neck or what? Luckily, my mission is to spread the gospel and encourage everybody to, follow the commands. If you love me, keep the commands. Love yourself, love your neighbor. Get a biblical definition of what love is. And, love is so general. And so, there's 5 types. You got erotica, that's like between you and your old lady. And then you got like agape, that's, the love of God. Then you got like brotherly love, friendship, and then like taking care of your community and nation type of deal. There's probably more, I would say. And then I just want to throw this out there to all the naysayers about, did God become a man? God showed up as a pillar of fire. He showed up as a pillar of smoke. He showed up as a volcano with lightning and thunder. And I mean, God can do whatever he wants to do. He's God. Like, I mean, the creator. He made it all. So, he can do whatever he wants. He's sovereign. And I know a lot of people, the inner rebellion of a human being. Yeah, it says we're all born in sin. Well, it dawned on me, I was like, our country's based on the premise of the internals of a man wanting to have adventure and not be under the thumb of another man. Which is rebellion from government and rebellion from religion. You know what I mean? And we all feel that. It's like, dude, I don't owe you tax. I don't owe you tithe. I don't owe you the time of day. Like, my gift to you is I'm not cutting your head off for standing on my land. That's the reality of a real man. And the real man has been suppressed through our modern stuff. That's why you'll see the old guys, watching Fox News with a cup of coffee yelling, "They did what? They did what? Blah, blah, this and that." Oh, by God. If I was a young man, this and that. You've seen it. You're sitting there watching the news, just waiting for the next scrap of information. Somebody walks in the room. Do you know what they did? Do you know what they did? Do you know what they did? Oh, they're doing it again. It's getting bad. You know, you see it all the time. You see it all the time. And what are you doing? You are sitting in a chair drinking coffee, screaming at a TV. But you're scratching that itch. Now you take that same guy, same age, stage, whole 9 yards, put him on horseback, lay him right down the fence, find a broken fence. He's going to get off the horse and fix the fence. Yeah, he's going to physically actually do something. He's going to put his mind to work. Who could have done this? He's going to go check these, flocks, herds, everything, see if anything got out, if anybody's loose, whatever like that. You know what I mean? There's a lot that would go on. And he would actually be going in and doing it and doing it and going in and doing. That's all been suppressed by sitting there drinking coffee, screaming at the TV. So that's why, be careful little ears what you hear, be careful little eyes what you see. And then, I'm telling you, if you read something in the Bible, it says, this is a statute before your eyes forever. And then Jesus says, not one jot, not one tittle shall disappear. You better wise up to that. Because then they're saying, well, hey, I never read that. I didn't know. Well, whose fault is that? You know what I mean? I'm standing in the middle of the highway and get run over. You know what I mean? I'm at the hospital trying to heal up. Doctors working on me and everything else like that. You know what I mean? It's like, well, I didn't know I wasn't supposed to stand in the middle of the road. Well, I got news for you. You still got to pay the bill at the hospital. You know what I'm saying? Like ignorance of the systems and the ways is you're still going to be stuck paying that bill. You're still going to get handed a bill from that doctor that puts your ignorant self back together. What makes you think on that day you got the whole Bible? You got, if you're watching this, you can push a button and talk to your phone and say, where can I get a Bible? Okay, Bible audiobook. I can't even read. Bible audiobook. Read me the whole entire Bible. And that sucker will take off. You don't have to ask it questions in a little bit different manner than that. But you can type in audio Bible on YouTube and watch the entire Bible play out with different persons having different voices, just like a book, like an audio book. And it's epic. I actually recommend that. It's really cool. I like it. I really do. I like the audio book Bible. Taking the exit. I just know I'm going to drive this sucker for 5 miles to get there, and then they'll have a temporary exit right beside where I'm going. That's what it usually has. Anyway. Get your beliefs right. Like, why do you believe what you believe? I believe I should drive on the right side of the road because of the evidence. You know what I mean? I see the yellow line, I stay on the right side of it, and so does everybody else. I stop at red lights, and so does everybody else. For the most part, I still look around. Mistakes happen, right? Okay, so you got the guy that knows he's supposed to be on the right side of a 2-lane road with yellow line in the middle. And then in his rebellion, his willful rebellion, he just switches lanes and just drives into oncoming traffic. There's a good chance he's going to hit somebody head on. If you're in Texas, that'll be 70 to 75 miles an hour for sure in a 55. So you're looking at a 150 mile an hour impact, which is unsurvivable in your modern vehicle. So you're going to die because of your rebellion, because you did not follow the system. You know what I'm saying? Okay? But now let's say that you're just playing with your phone and you drift over in the other lane or whatever else like that, and you look at the last second, you jerk and you try to get out of the way. There's still a wreck, but it's more of a glancing blow, not directly head on. That's a much more survivable wreck. You're still going to die eventually. You know what I mean? But that's the thing. You know what I mean? Like you'll course correct when you realize if it's a mistake. You know what I mean? Oh, hey, I wasn't paying attention. You know what I'm saying? You'll jerk back to the right lane and try to get right. You might still have a wreck. Okay, so there's like willful sin, and God's just like, yeah, that's not gonna happen type of thing. I don't think this guy's got a stop sign, but he's waiting for me. Okay, you're waiting for me. I will go. But you do not have a stop sign. There used to be a stop sign there. He's waiting for the non-existent stop sign to turn green. It was a four-way stop for years right there, though, but they're doing construction and there's no stop sign. Anyway, you have a ride. Hey, that's the guy that was parked right next to me. He's over here parking. High exhaust temperature. What the hell does that mean? Oh, well, you will burn up in hell for willful disobedience. If you make a mistake, that's one thing. You know what I mean? And then, like, here's a great big deal. Okay, high exhaust temperature. That's bad. Is this some bitch about to catch on fire? Turn it off. There we go. We will let it cool off as it's about to catch fire. Let's park in the fuel island and start pouring diesel on it. Maybe we'll just let it set a while, then pour diesel in it. On duty. Fuel. Add remark. And safety check. Fuel and safety check. If you're a truck driver, here's a bonus for you. Every time you get fuel right and safety check, then you're doing 3 safety checks a day. I do a DVIR in the morning because the company wants that. But the DOT prefers them in the evening because obviously if you find a problem, you got time to fix it. And then when I get fuel midday, like right now, I call it cats and flats. You want to hit the tires, make sure no cats or anything climb up in there. You know what I mean? Every now and then, especially in the wintertime, you'll park somewhere and them cats will be stray cats. They'll crawl up in there and try to get warm. So you want to watch out for that. It's pretty rare, but if you ever get a cat in the fan, it's not good. So your willful disobedience is a thing. And I mean, in the Bible it says there's this old boy, he's got a place, and he hires a new guy, then he goes out of town, they start partying, and then he comes back and catches them partying or whatever. And he said the one that didn't know got beaten, and the one that did know got beat severely. Okay, so when Jesus comes back, you want to avoid a beating, be obedient. One of the best things you want to do is follow the rules. Where you find the rules is in the Bible. And then when these organizations have different set of rules, you have to check their... I just had to do this. I just had to look up a preacher where my wife wants me to go to church, and their bylaws to their organization, which I didn't even know they had. And I called the guy that I'm talking to. I'm like, look, man, I don't know if I can allow my family to go to your establishment if it's, if you guys are, doing this false Estra. If you're gathered in the name of Estra, I can't be a part of that. You know what I'm saying? It's bad enough you guys can't figure out what day of the week it is. Anyway, and he's just real nice. He's the nicest guy you'll ever talk to in your life, and kind of car salesman. And just a soft kind of guy. I mean, yeah. Anyway, soft and jiggly. If you had to go to war, you would not pick this dude for sure. Dude. Anyway, I had to talk to my wife about it. But I'm driving down the road. I just have an open vision. I'm just cruising, right? And I have a freaking open vision where I'm just telling these people how it is. And like their reaction to me telling them how it is. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not good. It's not good. And then my wife's like appalled because I'm just like embarrassing the shit out of her by telling them, you know, the straight of it. And yeah. So, you know, I'm like, do I go to this service or whatever? Like, and it turned out I don't even have time to get there. And I'm talking with my wife about the. I'm like, I don't, you know, what about when Peter had the tablecloth come down and all that, and he had that vision, and he's just like, what, you know, he's trying to figure out what to make out of it, and I'm talking with my wife, and she's like, so that means I can't go to church now, and blah blah, you know, she just gets defensive and and I'm like, no, I'm telling you that I'm driving down the road and I see this situation and I'm talking to you about that. You know what I mean? Like, pause your narcissism where everything's about you 24/7 and just, you know, I'm telling you, hey, here's this experience I had that's unusual and peculiar. You know what I mean? I'm like, part of me is like, am I losing my shit? Am I nuts? You know what I mean? And the grand debate on that's still ongoing. Which, no, I'm not crazy. I see this episode of Cops in London. And that black guy right there. I mean, this dude was black. He was black. I mean, like Nigerian black. And he's good. But he had that British accent. He comes right out of that house with that knife, and he's like, I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. I was just like, you just don't put the two together. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, that was funny. It was real funny. And I watched some of those they'll be in like England or whatever, and they try to talk like they're tough. It's just like, dude, I wouldn't make it. I would not make it. I would be in so many bar fights laughing at these people. It wouldn't even be funny. Anyways, yes, I guess I'm gonna go to the church and tell them all that their adulterous whoredoms are, you know, disgusting. And yeah. And I'm wrestling with it because I told God, you know, I was like, God, I ain't afraid to tell anybody anything. You know what I mean? And I'm really not. And then, like these bylaws and stuff, you know, it's like, I got to tell this preacher, man. I'm like, hey, man, you're lying to these people. You're lying to these people, and their blood's on your hands. You better quit eating them pork chops because you're obviously got, you know, some cardiovascular issues. But at the same time, I've seen people come in off the streets dirty and filthy, and they just welcome them right in, and they become part of the congregation, and they, you know, end up, you know, getting a job at a house, stuff like that. You know, but what good is all that if they're just going to wind up in hell? Because, you know, and then for them, you know, I could see how God would have mercy on them because they're ignorant. They got this false teacher teaching them. You know what I mean? So it's just like, you know, why can't we just get rid of these false teachers and put real, actual teachers in the leadership of these organizations? I mean, that's obviously the answer. You know what I mean? And who's got the say and sovereign whatever over that? You know what I mean? Because if you just do it the Bible way, I mean, you can't get a group of Hebrews together and even decide on which calendar's right. I'm going to say this, though. God definitely put that sun and moon as the times and dates. So, I'm not saying it's impossible for mankind to change the rotation of the cycles of the moon, but it's a lot harder than changing some words in a book. Any coon hunter that's ever used the stars to find his way home will tell you they're the same. You know, every fire I've ever seen burning, the fuel source burns up. And it gets smaller and smaller until it's all used up. That sun's been the same size the whole time. I think it's a reflector. I think it's reflecting a reflector of God Himself. That's what I think. That's what I think. But I don't know that. So I'm not going to go like beat somebody over the head with it. But I could, like, you know, go back to the scriptures and see what it says and be like, well, it says this, it says that. I don't know, but woe to the false teachers. And then it's like, what if the chances of me catching every lie from these lying bastards is 0. Which lie am I harboring right now where I believed a falsehood and took it as part of my doctrine? Where's that at? I bet everybody's got that. We're supposed to be holy. They didn't say we're supposed to be perfect. Holy is set apart unto God. So I'm going to go with that. We'll go with that. We'll make sure that I honor the Creator and bring glory. I don't think I got here without a Bible, though. So I'm going to keep giving those Bibles out, even though they're suspect. It's all suspect. Got a lot of soul searching going on, you know what I mean? I don't want to be that false guy. I don't want to just have the wrong information and, you know, somebody wind up in burning in hell. The guy's doing 35 miles an hour in a fucking truck stop. Alright, then I'm going to get this fuel. Rock Hill. Go get him.